Hey y'all, my name is Miss Meadows and I am going to help you with this year's region music. So we're going to start with the first etude, the slow etude or lyrical etude. So first, etude is a French word that means study. So anytime you're playing an etude, it's usually just a shorter song that's written to help you get better at playing your instrument. And so with region band auditions, we have a slow etude and a fast etude. The slow one we also refer to as a lyrical etude, which just means slow, pretty, connected, right? That's what lyrical means. So in the lyrical etude, etude number 1, first of all, let me go ahead and play it for you. So I'm going to go ahead and include a video of me playing it for you. I'm going to play it just a little bit under the marked tempo so that you can hear everything really clearly and understand what's going on while I'm playing. Okay, so we'll start with that. Okay, so now let's talk about how to practice this thing, because that's a whole bunch of notes, isn't it, right? It's a so-called slow etude, but it sure does have a whole bunch of notes in it. So the first thing that you're going to do when you go to practice this etude, don't try to play it anywhere near as fast as I did, even though I still played it a little bit under tempo. Don't try to go anywhere near as fast as that. You're going to slow the tempo way, 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 way down. Make sure you're doing all the right fingerings. Make sure you're understanding the rhythm, and do that before you try to play any of it on the horn, okay? So first let's talk about what key we're in. We're in the key of C minor. You might not know what that means yet, and that's okay. If you look at that key signature, 3 flats, B flat, E flat, and A flat, that's the same key signature as the E flat, as the key of E flat major, as your E flat major scale. So it would be a really good idea to practice your E flat major scale before you practice this etude. That's going to help you get used to the fingering patterns that we have when we have 3 flats in the key signature. Okay, so B flat, E flat, and A flat. And we're in 3/4 time, so that's 3 beats in the measure, and the quarter note gets 1 beat. And you can see, just looking at it, it's a lot of really complicated rhythms in this piece. So we're going to talk about the rhythm a little bit, okay? So let's look at just the first 2 measures. Right off the bat, we've got a dotted quarter note rhythm, which is hard for a lot of people. And so what you want to remember about dotted quarter notes in 3/4 time, it's going to get a beat and a half. The way you can think about that with your foot tap or with the metronome click, it's going to get 2 foot taps. So it's going to get down, up, down. So the first 2 notes are 1 and, right? So if you tap your foot down, up, down for the first note, and then up for the second note, okay? And then 16th notes, remember we count those in 3/4 time, it's going to be 1 E and or in measure 1, they're on beat 3, so it's 3 E and okay? So I'm going to go ahead and count the first 2 measures. Okay, so go ahead and follow along with your music. I'm going to turn the metronome on really slow. I'm going to put it at 40. If you need to practice it slower than that, you go right ahead. You start at whatever tempo you can get the rhythm right. And then when you're ready to add the fingerings, get the rhythm and the fingerings right. Whatever tempo you can do the rhythm and the fingerings is where you start. Okay, so let's just do the rhythm first. Here we go. 1 and 3 E and 1 and 2, 3. Okay, so I'm going to count that again, and this time I'm going to go ahead and sing the melody with it. I like to learn rhythms that way. I like to always be thinking about pitch as a horn player. It's really important. 1 and 3 and 1 and 2, 3. Okay, so that's just the first measure, first 2 measures. And what you're going to do is you're going to work on those first two measures, make sure you understand the rhythm. When you're ready, you can start trying to finger it. Make sure you remember to get the A flats and E flats and B flats, right? But especially those A flats are real easy to forget. And then when you're ready, when you can count and finger it together, then you can go ahead and try to play it, but it's okay if you're not ready to play it right off the bat. Start with learning the rhythm and the fingerings first, okay? So one of the other things I want to talk about in here, you notice in measure 8 and in measure 12, we have, it says RIT period. That stands for retardando. And you heard in the performance that I slowed down there. You heard that I wasn't playing with the metronome in those two measures, right? And that was a choice that I made because retardando means to slow down, gradually slow down a little bit is what retardando means. And so in those two measures, I chose to not play with the metronome for a little bit and slowed down. And then on the last note in those two measures, you see the fermata, or some people call it a bird's eye. And that fermata means that you hold that note longer than its written value. And I held those for probably approximately a beat and a half to 2 beats. The last one probably a little bit longer. And so you get to decide how long to hold it. You hold it for how long you think sounds good. And then at the end of measure 8, after you hold out that fermata, you're going to stop. You're going to take a big deep breath. And then when you start measure 9, it says a tempo, which means you're right back in time with the metronome. Okay, so that's what that means. I hope this video helps. Remember to start slow, learn the rhythm and the fingerings first, and always practice with your metronome. All right, happy practicing.